What is going on, guys? It's your boy here again, Dean, and I'm going to be giving you guys the Karula Haven deck that I did not go over. It turns out Wilbert actually sucked a lot. Sorry about that deck profile, guys. And after doing some testing, I've actually liked Karula quite a bit. Ultimately, I did decide against this for the Grand Showdown for quite a few reasons, and that's mostly the Kuon matchup is not as good as what I was hoping, and then the Abyss matchup is a turbo grind game. It goes on forever, at least into Control Abyss, which I expect to be one of the most represented decks, and then the Kuon matchup may be slightly favored, but it's not unlosable, and then that's the real problem there, because if I'm going to have a grindy Abyss matchup, I do want an unlosable Kuon matchup instead of just the favored one. So anyway, this is the Karula control. I guess it's more of Marwyn. Karula's in there, though. And we'll go over the card by card and really explain what we're doing here. Okay, so there we go. First up is the leader card one. You're going to be wanting to play this thing, if you don't have this leader, you need to go on TCG Player, buy it right now. And then, yeah, here we go. Here's the meat and the bones. So, first off, we got 3 focus. We're going to be able to play this during our opponent's turn to be able to gain additional health and draw a card. Since most of our archetype is going to be floating mana, this is just a free cycle after turns like 2 onward, pretty much. Just 2 Angelic Snipe. Card kind of sucks, but it's an additional copy of 1 mana removal spell because we are playing triple Holy Counterattack. It's basically a snipe. We can only play it on our opponent's turn and on a tapped creature. But if we have a card with Ward, it is going to be doing 4 extra damage, and we only have 1 guy with Ward, and that's going to be Marwyn himself. So we're going to be using this to maybe turn skip on 5 or maybe like 7 or 8, Once we get our Marwyn up, being able to protect it, and outside of that, we have Snipe. It's just kind of like it scales better into the late game is pretty much the way that we're looking at it. Triple the Saviors. We want triple of this plus triple Marwyn. It's going to be able to search out the Marwyn in the Runecraft matchup because the goal is on turn 4 to hard play the Marwyn, skip our turn, and then follow up the Marwyn with the Jean to be able to clear all the Shikigami things and leave ourselves with an 8/10 ward to hopefully clear up the game then and there. Additionally, this card is annoying for a lot of classes to deal with because you can just banish a card on their board. It's very flexible in what it does. 2 defense or less, little low. Being paired with Boost Kicker, though, maybe, or like Jean. Just being able to, poke down some key cards on our opponent's board and then banish them is kind of what our goal is here. Triple Boost Kicker, this guy is actually kind of underperformed. But then it's other times he overperforms. I don't know. Deck is a little weird. Sometimes you see cards when you want them, and sometimes they're great. Sometimes they aren't. We're able to pay infinite mana up to 8, basically, because the card costs 2. And AoE the board for that much. And then at the beginning of our end phase, we get a mana back. When he lives, it's kind of insane because we're able to continuously refund our mana and help us float extra mana. So we could play down like this on turn 3, and then we tick back up to 2 and then get removal. Speaking of this card, this is Phantom Blade Wielder. This is 2 mana 2/2. And then at the beginning of our end phase, if we have at least 2 play points, we're able to deal 2 damage to something, and then we can evolve it for 1, and then on evolve, it just deals 2 damage, has the exact same effect. This is a anti-aggro card that then going into turn 3, we could literally just pass, float the mana to be able to hold up removal, but then also deal with something as well, or attack with it, and then, same exact thing. As long as it doesn't get removed. Very annoying card for aggro to deal with. Helps us just instantly win those matchups. Triple Surefire Bullet because it's a card that costs 2 mana, and a lot of our cards say if you have 2 mana, do something. So, being able to clear up the annoying cards our opponent plays, maybe like a Roll and Eye. All around good. Everyone knows that. Triple Karula. He's one of the better cards in the deck. 3 mana, 3/3. I was actually a little surprised with him. And begin at the end of our turn, if we have at least 2 mana, we're going to be able to deal 2 damage to the enemy leader. I really wish this was a different effect because I don't like the fact that the burn is tied to this and then the other stuff is so expensive. If we have at least 4 mana, we draw a card. If we have at least 6, kill a card on the opponent's board. This is very good into tall boards. Something like Gensetsu, this is really good into because when it's like the later turns of the game, we are going to be able to have the full 6 mana. And then we're going to be able to kill the Gensetsu. We leave up the foxes. We don't care about the foxes. The foxes don't do anything. In the late game against things like Abyss, we are able to pop things like Israfil. Against decks that go wide, though, this card is horrendously bad because we cannot float 6 mana and not die. And there's usually never like just one threat on the board that we care about. So like the destroy a card thing is like very situational when it's good. The 4 mana is good because we always want to have an extra card in our hand, right? If we're floating 4 mana, we want to be able to draw into our removal, and we want to be able to like keep up our hand size. So that part's very good. And then the 2-face damage is kind of whatever there. Not gonna lie. And then the evolve when we pay the 1 mana for it, or the Evo Orb. It's just going to be an extra 1/1 worth of stats, and then we're going to be getting 2 mana back when we do it. So we basically regain 2 if we use the orb, or regain 1 if we just manually evolve it. I don't know, actually. I wish this guy was like a 5 health guy. Like, I'd rather this guy be like 3/5 than 4/4. I kind of wish he'd like dodge Surefire Bullet. Because the idea is that hopefully, you get to use this effect over multiple turns, but in reality it doesn't, so okay. Triple click, Craving Splendor, it heals us, it's quick, that's the entire thing. We're floating mana, deals 4 damage, broken. Triple Jean is going to be paired with our Marwyn, deal 2 damage on play, on evolve we're playing 2 the Evo, boom, everything on our board gets 2 health, and 2 damage to the enemy board, everything else on our board, there we go. The play is, like I said, Marwyn. We're going to be evoing hard against specifically Kuon, and anything else. Turn 7 to 8, we're going to be using an orb. We are playing triple Marwyn Evo because every Marwyn that we play down, we do want to evolve. It is really our only card that we can have stick damage in a realistic matchup, which is why the Control Abyss matchup is so cringe. They don't have a win condition. You don't have a win condition. You play this guy, it gets Yuzuki'd. You kill the Yuzuki. They try to hand rip you. You draw cards. It sucks. But yeah, we're definitely going to be, evolving him, trying to keep up board presence, and then use cards like Holy Counterattack to keep us alive, and then hopefully the Marwyn sticks and we lethal our opponent. That's the hope. Triple Acolyte's Light, banish, removal, 4 mana, boom, draw into with Karula, remove our opponent's stuff, stop Kuon from spell chaining, stop Abyss from Gensetsuing, stop them from Death's Breathing. Good card. Broken. Triple Deus Ex Machina. This is our anti-Abyss card. It's a terrible matchup. It is winnable because of this card. We have the option to either draw 4 cards by discarding our hand. If we're against Control Abyss, our hand is like 2 cards, so we do not care. In the other matchups, sometimes it's just like a flush. Like you got garbage, right? You got garbage in your hand. It's too many of this card, too many of this guy, something. You just draw 4 new cards. This card has to be dealt with because if it's not, we're going to be recovering 4 extra mana every turn. We're going to just be using 4 mana. Boom. Like, this thing lives. We drew a new hand. Karula, evolve, regain 4. We're at 6 mana now, even though we played this thing down. Maybe even play down, like, this thing or something. Right? Like, might have sniped something, might have sure-fired something. And then we get all of the effects on Karula. And maybe win off of that, right? The card's pretty broken. And then we've got 2 Dark Jean. This is our lethal line, helps like follow up. If we ever like manage to have a board stick, it's really our only way of closing out the game. In certain scenarios, 6 mana, 5/5, and then on play we're going to deal 2 damage to every other creature on the board, and each other creature on our field gets +2 attack. I never read that your field. I thought it buffed our opponent's cards, don't ask why. And then on evolve, if we have 5 or more health, we're going to be able to deal 4 damage to both leaders. Common things, like I said, this thing lives. Boom. We're going to be able to go swing Marwyn, that's 16. This thing could make it 18, 22 with the evolve if we follow it up. So you have Marwyn Evo on 4, turn 5, Jean Evo. Follow up, that's 8, and then we swing again for 10. And then also, everything else, as long as the thing doesn't get outed. Even if this thing gets put down to 2 health, for some reason, we're still able to swing 16 plus 4 is 20. Other lines are Marwyn swings. They managed to out it with Demon Caller plus Shikigami token. So we've gone 8, and then we go 6 plus 4, so 10. And then on the following turn, so that's 18, we're able to do Karula Evo for Not Dead. So that's like how the Kuon matchup goes. We hit them over 2 to 3 turns, and then we win the game. So, yeah, that's the deck. It's pretty sick. It's pretty fun. It's always in my deck box. not going to be put in special sleeves for the Grand Showdown. But yeah, maybe there's going to be someone out there with a similar build. Let me know how you guys build float. This is my personal favorite list, like I said. And until next time, this is your boy Dean signing out.